Okay. So can you introduce yourself? It could be name, origin, age, occupation.
Namaste, my name is Sujita Basnet. I'm 27 years old. By profession, I am a biomedical engineer, and I went to school for biomedical engineer, but I'm working as a technology consultant for a Forbes 500 global company called Accenture now. And yeah, I mean, I'm just a simple girl who is a daughter and a sister of a little 13-year-old.
Can you tell us about your family? I think you mentioned about you were raised by a single parent.
Yes.
And then how that was, yeah.
Yep. So I was raised by a single mother in the United States, and so I was raised in a household of a single mother, immigrant, and ito pani low income household because obviously U.S. ma migrate gaisagapati, it's really hard to establish financial stability. I know. So I was raised by a single mother, and I take that as a blessing. People always ask me, do you feel like you miss the fact that you don't have a father? But for me, like, I never had a father, so I never knew. I was never familiar with my father, so I never felt that I was missing that aspect of my life because this to miss gonna suck. So for me, I find that growing up in a single mother household was a blessing for me. My mom always taught me, she never compared me to a son or a daughter. She always taught me to be an individual, be solid in yourself, be grounded, and be determined, and be resilient. So I'm really blessed in that sense.
Can you tell us about yourself on how you were in the past and then who you have evolved to become?
Yeah. So Kati, there's so many things that I feel like have led me to be here today, Aina. In the past, I was a very shy girl growing up. मलाई यस्तो डर लाग्थ्यो, even घरमा पनि, like, I used to love dancing, but I used to love dancing in the house, not in public. And so every time we would go to like a family gathering, my family would always task me to like dance, and I would feel so shy. And schoolमा पनि, I would just be so nervous to go up and like present my projects and stuff. So, growing up, I was very shy and I wasn't very vocal, but that's something that I wanted to overcome in life because I realized, all the people that I looked up to, they were successful because they had a voice and they were able to contribute to community because of their voice. And so that's one thing that led me into pageantry. I realized, pageantry is not just the glitz and the glam, but it's really a leadership platform. And so that allowed me to build my self-confidence and allowed me to really critique myself and see what's the good side of myself, what's the bad side, how can I improve myself, and how can I build that voice to help empower others. So, I mean, comparing myself from when I was 5 years old to now, I don't think I'm that shy. तर कहिलेकाहीँ हुन्छ shy, new settings ma, when there's like new people around, I still feel a little shy.
Can you tell me what do you do for fun?
For fun, I love to dance, like I mentioned. I also am very lazy sometimes, so I just love to lounge on my sofa and watch Netflix. I love coffee, so I'm always sipping on coffee or tea. But other than that, just like hanging out with my little sister, who is a goofball. She loves just like joking around, making fun of me. But yeah, I mean, I guess dancing is my passion. Other than that.
What is your dream, a main goal in life?
My main goal in life is honestly to just be happy. Obviously, I have career goals and I have, aspirations. And I think for me, at every stage in my life, happiness has evolved. And at this point in my life, my happiness is really to be content with who I am as a person. When we're growing up, when we're teenagers, going into adulthood, you tend to compare yourself to others, and everyone goes through that. And I've overcome that stage in my life, and I'm very content and happy with who I am. And I hope to maintain that happiness throughout my life, and use that to inspire other young girls who also are shy and who haven't come out of that shell, and just live day by day and just be happy.
Why did you join Miss Universe Nepal? Like, what does it mean to you?
Miss Universe Nepal is a very, very special place in my heart. So I started my pageant career as Miss Nepal US in 2011, and that was, I accidentally joined a pageant, and it wasn't something that I said like, oh, bachchadekhi nai pageant garchu bhanne testo dream थिएन हैन, but it was something that I accidentally ran into, and I ended up winning that year. And after I won, I really enjoyed it, and I think my perspective of pageantry changed too, because before, like I said, you always see the glamorous side of pageants from the outside, but when you're an actual title holder or when you're an actual contestant, you see the leadership side of it. You see, it's more than just, taking pictures and being a beautiful face. It's much more than that. So after that, I started getting into pageantry. And one of the things, and I started doing that in the US too. So I've done like the Miss World America system, the Miss United USA system, and the Miss United States systems, I know. But one thing that I always missed was the fact that I get to represent Nepal Banera. So as Miss Nepal US, my main role was to promote Nepal and to empower youth. And I miss that sense of like promoting Nepal and being Nepali and always representing myself as a Nepali woman, Manira. And so when Miss Universe Nepal started, I thought this was a great opportunity for me to join and not only be a representative of my country, but come back and show that I can be a representative of Nepal internationally, Manira. So that was kind of my motive and my goal.
Can you tell us what was your favorite moment during the competition?
During this competition?
Yes.
Well, every moment is so different and so unique. I've been loving it so much. I think my favorite moment is definitely today, meeting everyone. We've, Zoom, but 3 weeks, we've been talking to everyone. We've been texting each other through WhatsApp, and I already feel like I've known them for years. But in person, so it was very different. And so when we all met together, I didn't feel like I didn't know them. I think it was just such a beautiful moment to, hug everyone and be in person. And I think that's been the best moment so far. So far.
Okay. What was the most challenging moment, or do you have to give any sacrifices during the competition?
Challenging moment.
Yes.
Oh gosh, the time difference. So for the first 3 weeks when we were doing our Zoom training, the time difference was very much of a struggle for me. I was still working, I know. So all day from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I would work my full-time job, and then I would get like 6 p.m. Dekin 8 p.m. I would get time to just like take a nap, sleep, refresh, and then 8 p.m. Dekin hamro training suru hunthyo all night and again until the morning. You know, so that was a little tough. But I almost thought of it as like, oh, if I make it to international stage, we're barely gonna get to sleep on it. So I took it as like, I'm training my body almost. But that was definitely challenging for sure.
Can you tell us about your biggest strength and a weakness?
Biggest strength, I think my biggest strength is that I'm very resilient. In that sense, I've obviously done so many pageants, and I haven't won a lot of pageants, I know, and it's a lot to go through, to commit to a pageant, to commit to anything, I know, to be so dedicated, put your 1000% and come out not winning. It's a lot of pressure, I know, but I think that's taught me to be very resilient, because I don't take my failures as something, negative. I take it as a positive, and I think, I look back at my experience and I say, I've learned so much, I've grown so much, let's pick back up and get back to it, Banira. So I think I have that spirit where I don't let losses impact me as much, and I would say that's definitely my strength. My weakness, I would say my shyness. Sometimes, even though I've become confident over the years and I'm able to express myself, sometimes kune situations I still feel shy, I still feel like I'm not able to fully open up immediately, so I think that sometimes still comes in, but again, that's not really a weakness. That's something we evolve over time. So yeah.
Exactly. Who is your role model, like how he or she has impacted your life?
My role model, definitely, can I say two?
Sure.
They're definitely my mom and my grandmother. So my grandmother was the first from my family to actually come to America, and so she migrated over to America, and for her to be of a woman of that generation and to take such a big step and to encourage her daughters to also take that leap, I think that was very, very much of an eye-opening experience for me to see that. And my mom also, for her to support me in every part of my life, in pageantry and anything, they've been two pillars in my life that have been really strong, and they've set a great foundation for me, and I think they've definitely absolutely are my role models.
Can you tell us about your advocacy? Why are you so passionate about it?
Yes, absolutely. So my advocacy is called Liberated, and the ED in Liberated is capitalized because it stands for education. So before I go into the actual advocacy, I want to give you a little bit of background of why this means so much to me, Banara, because as a young girl growing up in a single mother household, in an immigrant household, low income household, for me, I always thought education was so important because of my education, as a Mayatsuaina, I don't think if I had gotten the education that I had gotten, I wouldn't be financially stable enough to be here. I wouldn't be financially stable enough to be confident in myself. And so, with education, I was able to build a lot of my confidence. And so I think education is so important. And in the context of my advocacy, this started back in 2013 when I did a fellowship with the Advocacy Project. And what happened during that fellowship was I traveled to Nepal, Madang Magara 3 mahina base. And during that time, my main goal was to be an advocate, a voice for the voiceless. And so one of the organizations that I was shadowing, Backward Society Education Base Bunny, their main mission was to rescue girls who were sold off into child servitude. So Kamlari community girls, they would go into the community, find them, rescue them, and bring them into the rehab centers. And so I did that for 3 months, and that was my first experience really seeing something that out of the norm, mirror norm, but like so extreme, and that really made an impact in my life. And I thought, these girls are being rescued, they're being brought into a rehab center, but like education, basic education, but what happens after that? They go back into the cycle of being like child labor or just back to servitude, because they don't have the other qualifications to go into the world as someone who's qualified to either work or be accepted into the community as someone who can be successful. So my advocacy is, working with the individual. I really believe in that. Investing in the individual is so key. When we talk about advocacy or causes, we think, that's not, I don't believe in that. I believe in investing in the individual, and that individual will create a rippling effect in their community and create change. So quality over quantity. And so through my advocacy Liberated, we invest in providing women from disadvantaged backgrounds who are advocates already, who are passionate to be that voice for their community. We invest in their bachelor's degree, and then we give them a 1-year job experience right after they graduate. And then throughout those 4 years, we also give them leadership training, so help them build their confidence through speech, through presentation, through all of that. And so that's my advocacy.
That's very strong.
Thank you. Sorry, धेरै लामो भयो.
I know. But it's so good.
I know I talk so much.
No, I mean, like, I really love your advocacy.
Thank you.
Because schooling, a lot of people focus on schooling someone.
Yeah.
And
They don't.
Yeah, and if you higher education, let's say, a lot of people doesn't
Oh,
get
अनि school मात्रै हुँदैन, because how are you going to get into a job, Like, there's a gap in that success factor, so I think that's really important.
Okay. Oh God, okay.
So let's end with a short.
EOS, okay. Okay.
Okay, who is your biggest contender, and what do you think you have learned from them?
I think my biggest contender is definitely myself, and I learn every day from myself. Every day I look at my videos. I think Miss Universe Nepal sabai video made white ass the capture, so it's really great that we get to self-critique ourselves. So I'm my biggest contender. I critique myself every day, and I learn the goods, the bads. One thing I've learned again is that I'm happy. I'm just so joyful and happy, and I'm living in the moment. And it's my last year doing pageants, so what is there to lose, Banara? I'm just living in the moment.
Who is your best friend in the competition, if you have any?
I would say Sudati. She is definitely such a sweetheart, and Kathmandu aएपछि I was feeling a little sick because त्यतिकै jet lag भएर होला, but I thought I had the virus. I was so nervous, and she asked us to come to her lab to do a PCR test, and I thought that was very nice of her, and so I would say her because she reached out and supported us for that.
Okay. Your prediction for Miss Universe Nepal 2020 winner?
Oh my gosh, everyone is so good. Espalita, I don't know. I'm just looking at the competition and I'm like, wow, everybody is like top notch. I don't know. That's a really hard question. I don't think I can answer that.
It could be yourself if you have to name anybody.
Of course, I would want to name myself.
So can you complete the sentence like, to me, Nepal is...
To me, Nepal is the home of genuine people. I think when they think of Nepal, when they think of Nepali people, they think of the pure heart. And I think that's what defines Nepal, is the pureness, the genuineness of everyone and the country itself.
I think so here. Why is it important to embrace your own root, culture, and tradition?
That's what sets us apart. When we go out to, I was raised in America, when we go out internationally, when we step outside of our country and our community, what sets you apart? It's your culture. Your culture teaches you a lot of your morals, your life skills, and helps you navigate through your obstacles in life. And so I think, it's really important to be one with your culture, with your roots, because without that, you don't have an identity.
I think last time you talked about growing up in the US, you were the only one Nepali girl among your coworkers,
Yes.
and then you had the pride in representing. I think Nicole wanted to talk.
Yes.
To talk about it.
Yeah. No. So growing up in the U.S., there's not. I guess where we live, there aren't a lot of Nepali people, and so. Growing up in school, elementary school, middle school, high school, अहिले even काममा पनि, I'm literally the only Nepali girl or Nepali woman that people have known. And so sometimes they ask me, I guess I look very ethnically vague, and so they ask me, where are you from, Manira? And I tell them, oh, I'm from Nepal. And it's really sad that a lot of people don't really know where Nepal is, Manira. So they ask me, is it Naples in Italy, Manira? So it's yeah. And I'm like, no, completely wrong continent. It's in Asia, Mount Everest, Manira. Ani त्यसरी भनेपछि, and then they know Nepal, Manira. They're like, oh, wow, beautiful country, Manira भन्छ हैन. So I think for me, again, coming to Miss Universe Nepal is that pride factor of being Nepali. I want to embrace that. I want to continue being a role model and a representation of Nepal internationally. And growing up, I was the only Nepali person that any of my friends ever knew. And I find very much of, I take that as a pride.
Can you tell us your life motto in one sentence?
Live in the moment. I know that sounds cliche, but literally live in the moment and you will just enjoy life.
Why do you think you deserve the crown and represent Nepal in the international stage?
Well, I guess if I had to say, with my exposure in the US and the fact that I've been able to represent Nepal on different platforms, first as a Miss Nepal US, and really molding and being the pioneer of that platform, and then carrying that into not only just who I am, but also helping my sisters and my other members in my family to be that voice of Nepal. I think I'm really able to carry myself as a Nepali woman, and I really, really find pride in that. And I think that pride will resonate if I were to go onto the international stage.
What would you do if you win the competition?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Honestly, it would be a dream come true. It's like a dream job that you work so hard for and you get, right? Definitely, my advocacy is number one on my list. That's something that I've been working on for years and years, and I want to leverage this platform to move that initiative forward. And after that, I want to, bring pageantry down to, a human level, because people think pageantry to be a pageant queen, you have to be this extraordinary person. And I want to be able to inspire young girls who come from same backgrounds as me, who are shy, who aren't that confident. I want to encourage them to be themselves and to aim to be in a pageant. So I think that's definitely one of my goals, is to showcase the value of pageantry. And then one last thing. Hamro Samajma, I think young boys have a lot of opportunities and support if they want to get into basketball, football. They get a lot of support, but pageantry is also a hobby. It's an extracurricular activity. So just like basketball and football, I think we need to support our daughters to go into and pursue pageantry. So that's something that I definitely want to raise awareness about. It's not just glitz and glam. It's not just being a model. It's about being a role model.
Wow. What if you did not win the competition?
There's a lot of things in the horizon. Again, my advocacy, my main motive of coming to Miss Universe Nepal is to carry forward my advocacy and to bring awareness about these causes internationally, and also to represent our country. So I'll continue to represent Nepal despite, day in and day out. That's something that I hold very, very close to my heart. And my advocacy work doesn't end here. Already through our trainings, we've gotten so many connections. I'm going to leverage those connections and continue to move my work forward.
Okay, so this is... so it's a message to your dad. I remember you said you did not live with him, right? So can be something like, I know we did not grow up together, you are not being around probably was a blessing in disguise. Like, can you
Yeah.
say a message in that way like, to your dad?
थोरै ड्रन गर्नु अनि यसमा फेस गर्नु
त्यहाँ हेरेर okay a message to my dad.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So Nicole, what she wrote is like, I know we did not grow up together. We did not. You are not around. Probably was a blessing in disguise. It shaped me into